Hi guys, what's up? How are you getting on? That's me, Robbie here, and today I'm answering a question sent in by email, and first of all I'm going to read it out. So, the asker of course is remaining anonymous because I'm not revealing any person's name for the larger public for obvious reasons. Anyway, that person is going to know that I'm answering his question because I'm going to respond to the email, including this video and everything, so it's just that question might be bothering more of my website followers and YouTube video watchers, not that just one person. So that's why I'm actually answering the question for everyone to listen and to consider, take into your consideration, right? So first of all, he asks, how come that you don't make any conscious efforts to speak English? Does the whole thing happen, pronunciation and fluency, subconsciously and naturally using the subconscious mind? Well, the answer is actually in the question, the person answered by his own question. Yes, the whole thing happens subconsciously. Once you reach a complete English fluency, you will just feel as if your mind opens up like a tap is open and water starts just flowing out by itself, and you just won't be able to contain it on some occasions, and it's a wonderful feeling, and it takes a lot of practice to get into that state of mind and state of fluency, ability to speak. Just open your mouth and let your mouth do the speaking, and it's going to happen kind of on its own, subconsciously, exactly, and no conscious effort is required. That's entirely the case, that's truth, and that's the way I speak now. For instance, I don't consider every word I'm using, it doesn't feel different than speaking in my native language. I'd speak my native language same way I'd speak in English or Russian, which is my third language, which I actually haven't been using in a long time, ever since I came to Ireland. I've been using Russian very rarely, and lately I haven't spoken it in years, so my Russian skills are dwindling, but nonetheless I can switch between the languages, and it actually leads to the second question asked by the same person, coincidentally, and he asks, how can a lot of people speak more than 4 languages without being confused or have one language being affected by another? The pronunciation is completely different, and so on and so forth. Well, it also happens on its own. Your mind takes care of that process, You don't have to do anything. I'm a bilingual speaker because my native language is Latvian, but ever since I was a kid, I remember myself speaking Russian, and it just came effortlessly. Once you know those 2 languages, you don't need to kind of pull a switch and switch at a conscious level between the 2 languages. It just happens. Once you start speaking the other language, your own language's words just don't mix in, which is not always the case, of course, and the whole English Harmony project is dedicated to preventing these issues happening with English, because, for instance, I personally struggled with English language for years, and that was my biggest issue, actually. I would speak English, yet my own language's words would constantly keep popping up in my mind when I was speaking English, and I couldn't figure out why it's happening. Now I have an answer, and the answer to that issue is you can't learn a language through another language, and especially you can't memorize new vocabulary words through a translation. But that's exactly what I was doing. I was writing English words on one side of my pocket dictionary and my Latvian translation on the other side. I used to memorize all those word combinations, English, with the corresponding Latvian translation, and unbeknownst to myself, I was creating wrong associations in my mind. And then when I was speaking, I hesitated a lot, and my native language kept creeping into the English speech, because all those words were kind of associated with each other, But the trick is to learn the second or third or fourth language, for that matter. Learn it completely on its own. Don't get any other language involved. And then it's entirely possible to switch between the languages without getting your native or any other language involved. And of course, vice versa. If you've been learning languages the wrong way via another language, especially using translations all the time, you may find that you mix up words and things like that. Although even then it will rarely happen, It wouldn't be a very, very big issue. That's what would prevent a person who speaks 4 or 5 languages from speaking them completely. It wouldn't be the case. It just doesn't happen like that. Your mind is naturally built to separate languages, and once it switches over to another language, it kind of blocks other languages out, But as I said, certain issues are bound to happen if you learn and study languages the wrong way. So hopefully this is an answer good enough for you. And thanks for asking the question, and thanks everyone for watching, guys, and see you in the next video. Bye!